want to talk with you a little bit about what Soul Call is. It's brand new. I'm the founding um, member of this ministry of Soul Call Ministries. And together with my partner, Erika Luckett, we had a grand vision for Soul Call, which is a nonprofit that I started in 1999. But it was also a vision that I had from the time that I was 8 years old. And the vision was this. It was, I didn't know words like consciousness and soul call and all of those kinds of things. I didn't know these words, but there was an inherent thing that I kept feeling. It was just inside of me, but it was outside at the same time. And for me, it spoke to me as music initially. I recognized that I always had symphonies going on inside of my head, but I couldn't tell if they were happening outside or inside. So I became very attached to being out in nature, but listening to music on the inside too. What I recognized was that each one of us has a passion, has a desire to express a soul quality or something that shows what the individualized spirit represents as you in this lifetime. So I've spent my life studying world philosophies. I've been a meditator for over 30 years, studied the practice of Qigong for over 30 years too with a master teacher, and recognize the subtle nuance of energies and variations of dimensions and vibrations. And this awareness creates a calm, even in the midst of chaos. Um, Many months ago, I did a talk at a Center for Spiritual Living on where I brought in the work of chaos theory. And the chaos theory says this, it's a mathematical term, just discussing the variations of just one person doing one thing slightly differently. It affects the whole organism. The butterfly effect is what other people say. But butterfly flaps its wings all the way on this side of the world. The effects of that butterfly flapping its wings will be felt across the globe. Well, right now, so chaos theory is basically this: for any system to change, it must first go through a period of chaos, at which point it either collapses or reorders at a higher level of functioning. That's largely the work of Edward Lorenz, a mathematician. So it makes me think about where we are now in conscious evolution. I feel like we are invited right now to participate more fully, to be more present with what is, and open to the allowing more than just the doing. So, one person doing one thing differently, that might mean one person doing one thing differently in the form of just allowing, meaning to stop doing, or many people as it is. We're all kind of in our, I'm coming to you from one of my favorite corners in my living room, right? I am here. We're quarantined. That's one thing we are doing differently right now. We're staying at home. We're staying wherever we are in inside, asking to be less doing, more being. So, what Soul Call Ministries is called to do, it's a global community of leaders of the light. Um, Over the course of the last several decades, I've had the privilege and the honor of getting to travel a lot with a worldwide music ministry uh, on my own and with Erika Luckett. And I keep bringing her into it because you're going to read and hear more quotes from this brilliant human who still is around, showing me things, teaching me things. She's still my greatest teacher, I have to say. Um, Talking about transformation of consciousness, looking for other ways, new ways of being on this planet. It seemed like things were going along just fine for many of us. But when we really look at the globe and people who inhabit it from other places of the world, there are a lot of people suffering. Not everybody has what they need to sustain their human lives. Not many people have the ability to climb the ladder of the hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Just basic necessities weren't being offered. This commodification of things essential for humans to survive has kind of put things a little off. And we're realizing it. All of a sudden, um, there's a lot of change, a lot of shift. And without getting into too much of it, just recognizing a lot of people are in a lot of pain. Many people are being swept away off the planet this time, making transitions, dying, suffering. What does this all mean? Rather than trying to find the exact answer, there's not one answer. For every human being on the planet right now, we're experiencing this pandemic slightly differently. Through the advancements in technology, we're able to communicate with each other in such beautiful ways as we are right now. So, this virtual community of Soul Call is allowing itself now to emerge on the front end of consciousness. Um, we have teams in place. The website is going to launch next Sunday, soulcallministries.org. Soulcallministries.org. And you'll find lots of resources there. People who will pray with you, a healing team who can do remote healing, body, mind, and spirit, leaders of the light, um, books we like, movies we like, that inspire the human spirit, that awake our consciousness, that wake us up. I'll be doing soul session music meditations um, every Wednesday evening, starting on the 15th of April. How appropriate. That'll all be on the website. There'll be a morning wake up call with conversation consciousness with some of the great luminaries of our time, some of the world leaders of the light that Erika and I've had the privilege to meet and become friends with. And we're just going to keep bringing more ways for you to engage body, mind, spirit in this time of where we're asked to be still. I was talking with a friend the other day, and many of you know I have an Italian background, but and many others of you have seen the movie The Godfather, the scene where he says, it's made an offer you can't refuse. I feel like the universe right now is making us an offer we can't refuse. In psychology, it would be called the double bind. It's like you could either participate with what is and be okay, try to find some inner peace, or be upset with it. Um, we're kind of in it whether we like it or not, whether we like it or not. Um, and recognizing, allowing for one of the greatest lessons I learned going through the health challenge with Erika. We learned how to say, I don't know, a lot more. And we learned how to be okay with not scheduling ourselves way out. Planning ahead is important oftentimes for many things. Right now, we can't really do that. We don't know. I'm touring right now with my Seeker 7 duo partner, the fabulous Natalia Zuckerman. We just had to cancel, as many artists have, everything. The NCAA, everything's been canceled. But not knowing how that's going to go for all of us, we have to rest in the inner knowing. What is happening? What if we're learning more to participate with the planet that we live on, that is an actual living, breathing, not even an organism. It's living and breathing. And so what we've been active in might have been throwing that balance off, as evidenced by the clean skies above China and the clear canals in Venice, and things like this. Um, the situation is getting righted somehow, but humans aren't, not all of us are going to survive through it. Many of us will, some won't. But that's not the point. The point is our work is in consciousness. I know that prayer works. I know that studying with Sifu Helen Yi, having great conversations with her about Qigong and light, and Deborah Weisenberger Lippitz and Faye Birch and Master Liu and lots of other people who know how to pull energy, Paramahansa Yogananda, where I first learned this from, in energization exercises. Learning that we are swimming in light. As fish swim in water, we as human beings are surrounded by light, cosmic energy. So we're going to teach you throughout the course of the weeks. We're going to offer opportunities for you to learn how to live in this light, how to dance in the light of your being, how to find that sacred stillness of the soul, the one that most wants to come through. the one that most wants to come through. There's a great quote I want to try to find. I just had it here from Friedrich Nietzsche about um, if you're not changing, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're not knowing. That's one of my quotes. But whatever it is that you want to allow, you know, he says, Nietzsche says, feel the chaos in your own being. That is what gives birth to a dancing star. So it feels like it's out of sequence, just like chaos theory. It just feels like this surge of energy that's chaotic. You don't know what's going on until you learn how to give it full expression in the beauty of your life, bringing forth the calling of your soul, bringing forth the calling of your soul through the idea of chaos in this physical material world, of linear thinking, of seeming duality. When we live from the soul, that kind of is minimized. It's not saying you're not going to feel cold and heat and pleasure and pain, but when you're not disturbed by these oppositional forces, then you're living from the soul. And so Soul Call is all about offering opportunities. We're going to start a on Monday, May 4th. This is all going to be on our website too. It's going to be Mystical Mondays. And I'll begin teaching a 4-week class on the study of mysticism, living in the mystery, living in the mystery. We're going to dive into the teachings of 13th century mystic, poet uh, Rumi, Jalaluddin Rumi, from, um, boy, just so much richness there. You'll be able to sign up online, soulcallministries.org. So taking these opportunities to be together, every morning there'll be a 15-minute wake up call with different people, leaders of the light, as I said. Well, what are we doing today? What are we doing now? Calling to your heart's mind all of those who are in need of healing right now, body, mind, and spirit. When you see them in your mind's eye, send them light, surround them, permeate them with light. Surround yourself, permeate yourself with light. Do the things that fill you with joy right now in this time. And being safe, being aware, prayer works, and taking heed of the words of caution we're receiving from wherever you are on the planet, whatever your local authorities and people in the know are asking of you, do that thing. I know in Ohio, when we go out, this is where I am right now. I'm speaking to you from Columbus, Ohio. And when I go out, if I need to go out, which I've been trying very hard not to, maybe groceries, found a way to have those delivered. However, when I do go out, I do wear a mask. It doesn't mean I don't have faith. It means have faith and lock your doors too. It's the old adage there. Take care of yourself, protect your organism, but protect others too. It's not always all about us. And I think we're getting that. We're getting that as a collective consciousness. Right now, we're practicing collective individualism as we're isolated from our physical contact with people. But in consciousness here, we're able to connect. Um, Staying on your growing edge of consciousness. We're going to have opportunities for you to learn how to meditate with different master teachers that'll be coming through in the weeks to come, offering different looks at how to do it. With in conversations, you'll have the opportunity to send messages to us asking for more information or how you want to connect like this with classes. There'll be more classes offered online and book studies. Like I said, the healing room. If you know somebody who's in need of body, mind, or spirit healing, you can send us their name. We'll pray for them a couple times a day. A group of us will just pray for the names of the people, not needing to get specific, but knowing that we are all connected in this universal consciousness. There is one universal force, one cosmic intelligence that is inherent in our nature. It dances in the center of our being and lives and breathes and has its meaning as it shows up as us. So I invite you to contemplate a little bit over the next couple weeks, maybe months, when we're out and about again, when we're able to get out, what is it you want to bring forth from yourself? I think this is a collective invitation to go deeper than you've ever thought. Go beyond that feeling of chaos, the frustration. Look at that for what it is. What is it? It's going to be something different for each one of us, perhaps. What is unsettling? Where might you need to do some self improvement, some exploration? Maybe it's keeping busy keeps us from feeling a certain thing or experience a certain series of thoughts we don't want to think anymore. Take this opportunity to tap into spirit, tap into the universal intelligence, and connect with people at a deeper level. At a deeper level. And I know prayer works. Something Erika and I were always very curious about, and something I'd love to study more is what they call the placebo effect. The placebo effect. And, you know, prior to the New Thought movement, there was the ancient thought. There's nothing really new here. It's when we become awakened by it, it feels like it's brand new. And we find new ways of saying ancient things that have been with us since the beginning of time. Yeah. But we talked about the placebo effect and the power of the mind, the power of the mind. Before they even start to figure out the efficacy of a new treatment, the statistics, they factor in like a 30% margin of the placebo effect, meaning just by the suggestion of a thing, most 30% of the people, it'll work for them just because they think it will. They could be given a sugar pill and not the new drug or experimental drug they're coming out with to see if it works. They factor in that 30% of the people it'll work for them whether they get the real thing or not. It used to be 30%. Right now it's closer to 40%. So what does that mean? That means that by the power of your thought, by the power of your thought, knowing that what you say is true, if you release it out into the ether and beyond, there's the law, there's the love, there's the law, there's the ether, there's the entire galaxy of thought, universes, stellar systems, solar systems. Just send it out beyond all of that. And deep within, inside you is the universe. Send it in deep and recognize that your thought is powerful. It reminds me of just today before I got online with you all. I picked up this book to see if I could raise this Atlas Obscura. It's a it's a book that just shows some of the most interesting bits of the world. It's a joy to read and reread, right? So it's just all these places in the world with interesting things going on or have gone on, just curiosities that they're fascinating. It's all about mind and things that happen. So in New Orleans, there is a chapel. It's called the St. Roch Chapel. It was founded in the 1800s. And it was dedicated in honor of St. Roch, who lived in the 14th century. Um, and I'm going to read this to you. He was born in the 14th century in Montpellier, Majorca, which is now part of France. Um, and he's said to have cured the plague of victims in Italy, right? So how timely for this now. But he's the patron saint for health and healing. And during the yellow fever plague that came around, uh, 40,000 people in New Orleans perished from that. However, all the people that were being prayed for by Reverend Peter Thivis, who was the pastor of Holy Trinity Catholic Church down there, they prayed to St. Roch, everyone in that parish. And 40,000 people perished or died, but no one in that, no one, not one of them in that community did. So it's this collective consciousness of prayer. Um, Praying to St. Roch, maybe. It's the energy of that entity, and it's the belief, knowing that it works. Know that your prayers work. Know that you're powerful beyond measure, living from the soul, living from the soul. If you would like to get the newsletter, Soul Call Calling, we've got a fabulous editor in chief, Reverend Dana Horton, who does a fantastic job of pulling together tidbits of interesting factoids that will nourish body, mind, and spirit. Some humor in there too, to keep you apprised of just where some fun things are, movies we like, recipes we like, something to help nourish you on every level as we move through this. So every Sunday at 9 o'clock, we will be here on this YouTube channel. I ask you to consider subscribing to the channel. Once we get 100 people on the channel, you'll be able to find it easier just by SoulCall Ministries on the YouTube channel. We already have some subscribers, but would love to have you do that. And sign up for the newsletter. And we'll be here next week. Next week is going to be a really special message of resurrecting the consciousness, resurrecting your consciousness. And we'll begin our weekly series, our daily morning show, every morning, starting the week after that. So I appreciate your being with me this morning. I'm going to share a couple other things here, the healing team and the prayer circles. But I want you to think about this week as you move back into what your world looks like right now. What is your soul's calling? Who are you? I wrote a fun little poem a long time ago. It's like, who were you before you were two? And it just goes on to ask, before the world kind of said, boys act like this, girls act like that, and everything in between. Now we'll study it. We'll dive into the book of the Tao a little bit with the Tao Te Ching. And next week, I'll certainly bring some teachings of the metaphysical teachings of Christ, that consciousness that Jesus had, and what that means for us right now in this time. But take some time this week to reflect and contemplate. I know it's been a great time for connecting with friends. I've been doing a lot of that myself. But what is coming forth for you in this time? What is coming forth for you? Why are you here? Why are you on the planet at this time, this moment in time, this experience that is like none other in the history of the world? Certainly, the planet is learning how to take care of itself. How are we taking care of ourselves? Inside, how are we nourishing ourselves and ourselves? Seeking that love and that joy. And I'm going to send you off with a song you might want to sing along with at home. I'm sending you my love and my deepest prayers, that your health and your vibrant consciousness comes forth from within you, where it's been all along. All we need to do is wake up, uncover it. Rumi says, find the antidote in the venom. He also says, invite an unwanted guest, an unexpected guest in. Ask it what it's come to show you. It's not a message for the world. It's a message for the individuals of the world. Finding your sacred center where you know that you know.